Well, it looks like the entire internet has turned on Jeff Nippard and started hating on him. And honestly, I'm trying to figure out why. And we're going to try and figure out why in this video. If you clicked on this hoping for like a Jeff Nippard hate fest, I'm sorry, but this video is probably not going to be it. And if you're heading to the comments right now to say something about how I am like some sort of paid shill or industry plant or something, please go ahead, finish out that comment by all means. But just go ahead and, hit return a couple times and please explain to me why it is exactly, the hate for Jeff Nippard. I get there was the whole thing with Hassan a little bit ago, but we'll get into that. Anyways, I have a bunch of things that I want to cover today. Well, 4 things really. I want to cover some of the bits from this Solomon Nelson guy's video. We're going to cover some of the things, the infamous Instagram comments, right? Jeff's Instagram comments that are so bad. We're also going to go through the emails where Jeff was bullying this Nelson guy. Anyways, there's a lot that I want to say. And I almost didn't make this video because I was trying to figure out how exactly I want to, how I want to go about it. But anyway, let's just get into it. Okay, so we're going to watch this first little bit of Jeff's terrible Instagram comments where he's so mean.
Jeff left 2 comments on Mike's Instagram page. The first, dated 4th of October 2025, read, "Bro was out here adding semicolons to Mike's rough draft from 13 years ago, thinking he did something."
All right, so here's this first Instagram comment that Jeff Nippard left on one of Mike's things. So obviously in this comment, he's making fun of this guy. It's very clear that this guy, this Solomon guy, has created this like intellectual persona in this thing he's trying to give. It feels very disingenuous to me, but yeah, that's just my opinion, right? I'm allowed to have it. And I'm just some random guy with a camera, okay? So whatever. Sue me. Anyways, so this is the first comment. Bro's out here adding semicolons to Mike's rough draft from 13 years. Kind of a funny comment, I'm not going to lie, and I don't think Jeff should have deleted it. I have a video coming out very soon about the whole PhD situation, and I just think it's just kind of silly. But anyways, all right.
The comment was liked.
Maybe the second one is worse, right?
By Mike Israel. Jeff then left this comment on a later post by Mike Israel. "Solomon trying to play off his Reddit-brained parasocial anti-fan hit piece as a good faith attempt to help fix the way administrators archive their papers is pretty funny."
Jeff cooked with that comment too. That's hilarious. Look at his
Jeff
face.
has since deleted.
He's so mad.
Both comments.
Again, Jeff should have never deleted that comment. That was hilarious. The guy, he did. He tried to play it off. He just cares about the integrity of the educational system and stuff, and that's why he's critiquing the thing. No, he's just trying to be a dick, right? He should just own it. He's obviously just trying to be a dickhead. Jeff's comment, this is hilarious. So funny. All right. Anyways, now we're going to dig
Jeff
into
has since deleted both comments.
Yeah, he deleted the comments. So now we're going to dig into the emails, right? The infamous Jeff Nippard email scandal. I'm excited.
Shortly after leaving his semicolons comment, Jeff Nippard contacted me to request the removal of a line in my channel description that he felt implied a current client relation.
All right, just to catch you up, this Solomon Nelson guy, he has a consulting business, which I think has to do with fitness stuff. He's talked a few times. I guess he did a little bit of consulting work for Jeff a while ago on some programs. Kind of a little bit of foreshadowing. Another big scandal here is that Jeff said something about how, this Nelson guy, you worked for me once and whatever, but it was actually 2 times, so Jeff is lying, and then he remembered. It's like Jeff Nippard probably has so many collabs, right? He probably works with so many people and hires so much stuff out to other people. Like the dude, he just built his own gym. Like he's got all these programs and all these businesses around the YouTube channel. And the thing is, I don't even like Jeff Nippard, okay? I like I like dunking on the science guys, right? I'm mad that I have to make this video, right? I'm irritated that I'm even having to make this video, semi-defending Jeff because I want to go back to dunking on the science nerds, but I also I like justice, right? And in fairness. I think a lot of this is just really unfair, right? So I like fairness, okay? And I think it's cool to dunk on the science guys when it's fair. Anyways, we'll get into this email. Okay, basically, so this guy's consulting business. He had a line in there about how Jeff was really satisfied with this guy's service. We'll get into it.
I responded by offering to amend the line to reflect accurately that Jeff is a past client. Jeff declined this offer and asked that his name be removed entirely.
Okay, I have so many things to say, so stick with me on this one because I'm going to give you a really good example on this as to why this is a perfectly reasonable request.
He explained his reasoning by first characterizing our professional history as limited to editing work on a single unreleased program over a year ago.
Okay, so that's the big scandal. It's actually 2. Okay, so he forgot, right? It's not a big deal.
He also expressed a view that he doesn't align with the content style of my channel. Noticing that his email...
Okay, so Jeff doesn't align. Jeff doesn't want to be aligned with this guy, doesn't want to be associated with him because of the type of content that he posts. Okay, this is all really important, okay, because we're getting to the good stuff here. We're getting to the meat and the potatoes, so I can bring it around with my example at the end.
Mails were sent from an unfamiliar address. I paused the discussion to request identity verification before proceeding. After confirming his identity via Instagram direct messages, Jeff reiterated his request for his name to be removed entirely. He stated that he can't remember if he ever gave permission for his likeness to be used for promotion. He followed...
Okay, yeah, he can't... Okay, okay, hey, it's me. We're going to read the whole message. Okay, hey, it's me. Message from 2019, yada, 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 recent collabs. Okay, anyways, like I said in the email, I'd rather you not use my likeness for your business promotion. I don't think negotiating this makes sense. He's saying, I don't want to negotiate it. I just don't want you to use my name. That's it. It's that simple. I don't think, maybe I gave you permission to use my likeness for promotion, but I can't remember doing that. This is just a really, really polite... Because Jeff's Canadian, right? This is just a really polite way of saying, please stop, okay? I did not tell you that.
This with a
so
long, unsolicited message detailing his personal grievances.
Here we're going to go through the personal grievances because I think all of this is really relevant. So again, stick with me, okay? So to be a bit more clear, transparent, your most public associations since our very brief time working together have been with Greg. I'm guessing Greg Doucette. So what Greg constantly trashes on Jeff, making pretty unfair, things to say, okay, who has spent nearly a decade relentlessly bullying my partner and to a lesser extent me online. I think he's talking about Mike Israetel there. The entire HTLT brand is an acronym that originated from videos falsely claiming I wasn't training hard based off of the one clip of me deadlifting during my back injury rehab. Greg also constantly peddles bunk supplements like testosterone and undermines science regularly.
My other industry associates,
okay.
Once again...
Is it Lyle, your other close collaborator, and I are not on good terms? He cut me off at least 5 to 6 years ago for no apparent reason and not in a nice way at all. Recently, he sent a harassing email received by my mom, who manages my web email. That is so cool. He gets to work with his mom. That's awesome. A few years ago, I released an ebook for a high-frequency program, and he used that to publicly call me a charlatan. I guess only Lyle is allowed to release those ebooks. Okay, so he's going through. He's saying, look, Nelson Solomon, the thing is, Jeff doesn't owe this explanation to this guy, okay? Could very nice to just say, hey, take it out of your bio. I don't like you. Stop. Instead, Jeff's so far giving a very fair and level-headed saying, hey, I don't want to be associated with you. Here's why. Because you associate with this guy. I don't like him. This guy bullies us. I don't like him. You like this other guy that you're associated with. He said a bunch of crap about me that I don't like. Okay. In my opinion, super fair so far. Let's
Again,
keep going.
criticizing my recent content. Before asking for the
Okay. I also thought your expose on Mike's PhD was petty. As far as I know, fair journalistic standards are to at least reach out to the party before publishing. So while the draft versus final copy error is understandable, it also could have been avoided. I think Mike has better morals than what your content implies, and being a guy I know pretty well, I don't really want to be associated with a channel that goes after him every other video. Again, super fair. Jeff saying me and Mike are boys. You're attacking my boy. That's it. So we are not friends because you and him are not friends. Super fair. I figured since I had enough experience working together after a shaky start, I'd at least flesh it out a little bit more for you. He's saying, look, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt to even have this conversation instead of just saying no,
to be kept private. I didn't engage.
Okay, and this is also very interesting. I don't know if you can see this. We didn't really touch on this very much at the end. Lastly, I'd ask that we keep this communication private, please. That's what Jeff asked very nicely to this Nelson gentleman. Let's keep this communication private. And so obviously he did not do that because this is released. Yet so far, Jeff is the bad guy. Okay, so
before asking for the communication to be kept.
Again, I'm about to tie it all together.
Private. I didn't engage with the personal grievances outlined in Jeff's direct message.
Well, probably because they're all really fair. Right? It's not like something you can deny. It's all like true stuff. They're saying, hey, here's what it is. That's it.
And instead merely informed Jeff via email that I had updated my channel's description accurately and factually to state, in fact, Jeff Nippard is a past client of mine.
Okay, this is super important. Okay, so this is the last email from Solomon Nelson to Jeff Nippard, the reply to Jeff's in my opinion, very fair and well said request. Okay, that didn't have any personal attacks. Really, it didn't say anything. It didn't say, hey, you suck, or you're dumb, you're an idiot. It said, hey, here's why. You attack my boys, I don't like you. Okay, so this email says, thanks for confirming your identity via Instagram DMs. I've gone ahead and removed the line that originally read, my clients, Jeff Nippard included, tell me that they get a good value. I've replaced it with a line that reads, in fact, Jeff Nippard is a past client of mine. Okay, and there is so much wrong with what's going on here. Okay, Jeff is very politely and respectfully asking this guy, hey, please don't use my name. Don't name drop my name to sell your stuff. And not only is this guy not respecting that, like this Solomon Nelson guy, he's making this whole expose, this whole screw Jeff expose video, right? That's the whole point of this video, is that Jeff's a bad guy. Jeff Nippard's a bad guy. If that's true, if Jeff Nippard is a bad guy and you don't like him, then why are you so insistent that you use his name for promotion? Let's not get it confused here. This is exactly what this guy is doing. Okay, he 100% is at the same time trying to add legitimacy to his own brand by using Jeff's name as a former client, and also doing this anti-Jeff, screw Jeff expose. Okay, does that make any sense to anybody? So now I'm going to give you a personal example, and then I'm going to tie it back with a couple other things that I think this gentleman is doing completely wrong. Okay, a couple of years ago, I was a real estate agent. Okay, so as a real estate agent, I worked with lots of different contractors and lots of different businesses doing different things, right? Locksmiths and plumbers and electricians, and I just had a guy for everything, handyman guy, whatever. Worked with lots of small contractors. Okay, I had this one contractor, this flooring guy, come over and do some work at my house, right? It's just like me, personal work, just doing work for me. It was my own fault. I let him, but he really took advantage of me. Okay, I feel like I was the most chill, customer ever. I was like, look, man, I need this room finished. There was some like tile that needed to be done on the floor. I was like, look, you can take as long as you want. I would get him drinks and stuff while I was out at the gas station. I'd get him like Monster Energy drinks or, whatever he wanted, set him up with my Bluetooth speaker. If he needed to go to Lowe's for anything, I wouldn't even ask for a receipt. I'd just say, hey man, how much was it? He'd say like $200. And I always sent him like $30 to $50 more than whatever he said he spent at Lowe's. Right. So if he said he spent $200 at Lowe's, I sent him $250. Right. And I'm just like, I was chill. Right. I was the perfect client. Unfortunately, I think my lack of boundaries was my own downfall. Because the last day that I saw him, the job had not been completed yet. And he was telling me about how, they were like behind on rent and he has 4 kids and everything. And look, I'm a sucker. Like I can be taken advantage of like that. Right. So if it is what it is. If you somehow involve kids with me, I'm very easily emotionally manipulated. So I was like, look, man, I'll just give you the rest of the money for the job up front, and I'll pay you for the full job right now, and just come back and finish it. Okay. Well, I think you know where this is going. He never came back. He did not finish it. I never saw him again. So I had an unfinished room that I had paid to have completed. And I never saw him again. And it's like $1,100 worth of work that needed to be completed. So it's not like, going to court and everything. This would just be not worth it. It would be a waste of money and time. But anyways, so here's the whole thing. What I want you to do is imagine this guy that I had hired. Imagine if like on his Facebook page for his business, he said, trusted by local realtor, Frank the Tank, right? He had my name in there. Past former clients, Frank, really enjoyed my service. And I was like, dude, look, yes, I'm a former client, but like, please, like, I do not want to be associated with you. I did not have a good experience. I'm not okay with that. I think that would be a completely fair and legitimate request, right? It's not like something that's enforceable by law to say you need to take my name out of there. But definitely he would be using my name as a trusted name to have other people hire him, right? That's exactly what the Solomon guy is doing with Jeff. Last thing I want to touch on before we get into the opinions of some other YouTubers is I want to go and just hit on this very important piece of information down here, right, which is where Jeff said, I'd like to please keep this private. Just please keep this communication private. Don't share the messages. And the guy did, right? Solomon did share the messages. Okay, so who are we hurting here? In my opinion, these messages are totally like benign, right? There's like nothing mean-spirited about these messages at all coming from Jeff. Maybe he doesn't want to appear like he's bullying somebody because he's, a much larger YouTuber or anything like that. But let's be real. He's not. Okay. He's making a perfectly reasonable request here. Jeff's just Canadian and, sorry, eh? They're just like super nice about everything. Really, this guy is hurting himself, right? Because imagine you're a different YouTuber guy, right? Or a gal. Maybe you're a different YouTuber gal and you were thinking about hiring this guy, right? So you go to this and now you catch wind of this drama and you're like, okay, well, Jeff is a former client and this Solomon guy is like leaking private messages that Jeff asked to keep them private. And he's making this big expose video on Jeff. As let's say that's me possibly going to this guy for services. I'm thinking about like, well, I don't want to be the next, thing where he like critiques, he just wants to make some clickbait video where he pretends to be an intellectual and like nitpicks all these little minute things that don't matter at all. No, I don't want to be, I wouldn't want to do that. That's what I would say as a client. Now, real me, please, if Solomon, if you do see this video, critique any of my videos and I'll eat popcorn and watch the response live. But anyways, now we covered that. Let's kind of get into some other YouTuber responses from this because, like I said, I think that the hate is like, it's just a little too aggressive, man. People are jumping on the hate bandwagon for Jeff, and yeah, we're just gonna get into a little bit, and I'm gonna react to it, and I want to know what you think down in the comments as well. So far, let me know if my example made sense. Right? So far, is Jeff's request fair? Right? Does it make sense? Okay, let's get into this. What's Revival Fitness have to say?
Scientist Jeff imagined that he could make fun of a critic thinking he did something by digging up an antique and pointing out minor errors.
Oh, so this guy is getting real grumpy, right? This guy's really upset here. The dude needs to take a chill pill, man. I don't know what to tell you. You need to have a beer or something. You need to relax. Also, you might not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like right here, okay? All right, let's get back to this. What do we got to say here?
As if the undertaking is just frivolous.
He's pissed off, man. You can tell. And it's totally justified, too, especially given the fact he had done business with Jeff in the past, and you would think were on good terms. I mean, Jeff essentially stabbed him in the back. That's really what he did.
I don't know if there's any stabbings in the back, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know why Solomon would think he's still on good terms with Jeff. Like, if he does just constantly go after Jeff's friends, and Solomon is like close with people who constantly go after Jeff and his friends, like, why would I would actually expect to not be on good terms with that point. And honestly, it's giving soy, right? I think I'm starting to detect a little soy, right? And as you guys know, if you're a regular on the channel, you know what happens when soy is detected. That's right. Opinion is rejected.
It's happened to me as well, I get it. Yeah, he has the right to be upset.
Well, the frivolity falls back on Jeff. His peremptory intervention was hollow, shallow, without substance, and foolish. He thought that he could dismiss criticism for reasons that don't stand up. He scoffed at something that he either didn't understand or misrepresented.
Obviously the latter.
Jeff, the scientist, had become emotionally involved.
That's a very interesting critique for this gentleman to give, that somebody else is emotionally involved or emotionally invested with this. Look, man, here's what I would suggest to Solomon. Okay, I would get a nice whiskey, right? Or maybe something crappy. Maybe something like Maker's Mark. A good old reliable Maker's Mark. Okay, get some Maker's Mark, glass of Maker's Mark, and you're going to want to go down to your local cigar shop, and you're going to get Nico Libre or maybe anything with a dark wrapper. Ask for a dark wrapper, Nicaraguan tobacco, something full bodied. Okay, and you want to take that home. And you want to have the whiskey. And you want to smoke on that cigar right here. And I guarantee after you do those two things, you will feel a lot better. Okay, you will not be so grumpy. Right? Stop being such a grumpy pants, man. Chillax.
His interventions on social media seem uncharacteristically unhinged, as if some inner fury had finally got to him.
It's not.
You know what? I can't even. Hold on. I want to hear what Revival has to say.
Some inner fury, man. I mean, I don't know how much he's done similar things in the past, but Israel is, you could say, the biggest name in the industry. Jeff is friendly with him. He ran to his defense quickly. That's just what happens.
Solomon trying to play off his Reddit-brained, parasocial, anti-fan hit piece as a good faith attempt to help fix the way administration.
Honestly, this guy is giving Reddit-brained. I bet you he does a lot of Redditing. That's my guess. He talks like how Redditors type.
Redditors archive their papers is pretty funny. What an extraordinarily incoherent broadside. What did he mean by Reddit-brained, parasocial, anti-fan hit piece?
He's using
I think it's pretty obvious.
buzzwords to get people to like the comment and try to appear funny. That's all that was.
Jeff seems to be seething over something that...
All right, okay. Am I completely alone here? Like, am I taking crazy pills? Let me know down in the comments, okay? That Instagram comment of Jeff's, did he cook or did he not cook? right? Because I think the comment's kind of funny. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, and I'm just not seeing something. Maybe there's a piece of the puzzle I'm missing. I'm willing to accept that that's the possibility, that I'm just missing a big piece here, and if so, please, tell me down below. Enlighten me. Okay, I can't take any more of this guy's whatever. Let's take a look at the next bit. This is Joey B on the next one. This is Joey B's reaction to Solomon going through the whole email thing. Okay,
Client of mine.
Well, Jeff went ahead and reached out, and I want you to take my name. I want to disassociate myself from you completely. You take my name out of your bio. I don't want to see it. Solomon said, hey, this is my bio, and I don't have to do that, so you can go shove it. So good for Solomon. Very happy for Solomon. Very glad that he did that. And this kind of...
I don't know. I don't know about that. This reminded me of something else I wanted to say about this. I want to hear him say it one more time.
Myself from you completely. You take my name out of your bio. I don't want to see it. Solomon said, hey, this is my bio, and I don't have to do that, so you can go shove it.
Okay, so Solomon said, this is my bio. I'm not taking your name out of my bio. Okay, I can't exactly put my finger on it, but there's just something ungentlemanly like or unsportsmanlike when I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes, right? Like, let's go back to when I was a real estate agent. Let's say I did a deal with somebody, and then afterwards, we had some sort of falling out, and we got into an argument about something, and then they saw, let's say on my website, I had their personal, their review about me that was previously a good review. Like, oh, I had a great time working with Frank, right? And let's say this person's name is John. This imaginary scenario where his name is John. Okay, so imagine me and John have a falling out, and John calls me up and says, hey, man, hey, Frank, I see my review is still on your website, okay? And we're not friends anymore. We have a falling out. Will you please... can you please take my review off your website? If it was me, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, you don't first off, I feel really bad that you don't even want to be associated with me. Like that would make me feel really, really terrible. And yes, I'm going to respect that. Absolutely. Like, you don't want to be associated with me. Like, I'm genuinely sorry about that. And I will absolutely take that down, right? I'll absolutely do that. I don't understand the mindset where somebody says, no, I'm keeping your name and I'm going to keep using your name for promotional purposes. Again, am I crazy, or is that just weird? All right, especially because you don't like the guy, right? You're saying you don't like the guy. You're telling everybody else you don't like him. You're telling everybody all these things that's wrong about him, but you want to stay associated with him? It doesn't make sense. Okay, and the last one, I saved Greg Doucette for last. Okay, we're gonna see. It's just a few seconds. I know I can barely hang on, but we're just gonna see what he says about this.
No way Jeff actually made those Instagram comments. Is he a child? Yes, he made those comments. I see every single one of them. I screenshotted those comments. I sent them to other people and said, this is your hero, your savior. The one that you think would never lie, that he would never do anything to cover anything up, that he's 100% honest, that he has integrity. I've known about this from Jeff for years. Jeff Nippard, fake, wholesome, science-based persona is over.
I must be missing something, because to me, I haven't seen anything that Jeff's done that was really, really disrespectful. So he talks some crap in some Instagram comments, and this isn't even unprovoked crap. He was talking smack in a way that's defending his friend, right? Like, he's defending one of his best friends, right? So yeah, of course I would be doing that too, right? I'll be doing the same thing. Anyways, I don't get it, okay? Please, let me know what you think down in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something. I think that a lot of people are just jumping on the hate bandwagon. I don't know what the built-up hate is over Jeff Nippard, and I truly don't understand why everyone's so quick to jump on him. I mean, truthfully, he's done so much for the fitness community. I mean, I'm going to pull up his page right now. He's got 592 free videos, right? Where anybody can just go on, man, you got a good question. Is it perfectly accurate information? I don't know. Is it going to work for everyone? Maybe not, right? Because fitness is weird, right? Not everything is going to work for everybody because everyone's a little different. Anyways, I really just need all this stuff to blow over so that I can go back to dunking on Jeff and all the other science guys because I want to go back to making fun of the science nerds and the science space lifters. But I can't, because if I do it right now, then everyone's going to think I'm jumping on the hate bandwagon. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and maybe if you didn't like the video, I at least gave you something to think about, another perspective to consider, and I'll see you in the next video. You have yourself a great day.